It's honestly insane to me how just a few months ago, if anyone had a negative comment about Charlie Kirk's death, you were either kicked out of school or fired from your work. But today, Donald Trump decides to share a message following the death of Rob Reiner and his wife. After reading that message, I'm telling you, he could have kept it. A simple rest in peace would have went really far. Just like Jasmine Crockett said, you're not scoring any political points because this man lost his life. This tragedy just occurred. The family is still mourning. This couple's daughter found them stabbed to death in their home. It's literally not the time. How long has it been? 24 hours? My heart goes out to Rob Reiner's daughter because I know she is going through it. Finding your parents like that is traumatizing. And then within 24 hours, coming to the internet to see that the president of the United States is saying that your parents deserved it. Imagine how enraging that feels.
Now, the death of Rob Reiner is a painful one. It is a kind of murder that comes unexpectedly and sweeping a couple, which raises a question of mental issues in America and how the government is addressing mental stability in America. Because it is clear that the son, who is said to be a drug addict, was involved in such murder. What is fascinating is how Donald Trump, the president of America, has reacted to this death because he's now bringing the political bit in it instead of addressing what really caused the murder, which is mental health. What has America done to address the mental issues for the people or for the young people in America? So people have castigated Trump for issuing such statement in his account, social media accounts, and telling him to apologize for that because that is not what the head of state should do when we meet such a great tragedy. This was a Hollywood star, and he should not be just wished away of his death. So let us watch how people reacted to this and what they had to say.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, just came out with a statement saying that he blames the deaths of Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle on Rob Reiner's politically liberal views, and said that Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michelle. Then he literally says this, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with the mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. So this comes on the heels of the absolutely devastating news last night that Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were killed, and that their son, Nick, who has had a lifetime struggle with addiction and mental illness, is being held for the murders of both of them. So I don't even know what to say, just presenting what happened.
As if he couldn't hit an all-time low, Donald Trump is now mocking people who have been unalived. At 3 in the morning or so, thereabouts last night, Trump went on Truth Social and basically said that Rob Reiner was a has-been, which he is not. He's one of the greatest filmmakers in our lifetime, really. And it just depends on your tastes, but he was extremely successful and celebrated. And he said that, Rob Reiner and his wife were found basically stabbed to death in their home. And no one has been named an actual suspect yet. And they weren't even, unalived for 12 hours. And Trump is already mocking Rob Reiner. He basically said Rob Reiner died of Trump derangement syndrome. And that's because Rob Reiner was an outspoken critic of the Trump regime, which that's his right. But man, when people pass away, when they die violently, the way that Rob Reiner and his wife did, it doesn't matter. You respect people after they're gone. You don't mock them like that. And look at how horrified and how furious Trump and J.D. Vance and everyone were when certain people did the same thing to Charlie Kirk, who, by the way, was not the nicest person on earth, but still, he passed away, and people just kind of kept it to themselves and just, rest in peace and all that. No, Trump can't do that. So he goes on Truth Social, the president of the United States. All those people just died in Australia, right? 16 people, 2 people in Providence, Rhode Island, in these heinous, mass shootings. And then Rob Reiner and his wife are violently unalived in their home. And Trump can't help himself. And he said that Rob Reiner had become a loser and he was no good anymore. And basically, he died of Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. That's the President of the United States. Okay?
What happened to Rob Reiner is horrific, but he did spew a lot of hatred, anger, and divide. I'm sorry, that's how that works, right? Unfortunately, I don't have an evil enough bone in my body to genuinely make that statement. So for me, it's just absolutely horrific how somebody can be murdered like that, stabbed in their own home, them and their wife, by their son, by anybody. If this was a political attack, it would have been horrific. No matter what, this is just an all-around horrific attack, and it should have never happened, and it's horrible to see. Now, Donald Trump should not be sharing the same sentiment that I have for the death of Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner consistently and persistently labeled Donald Trump all sorts of horrific names that could have very easily influenced people to cause harm toward Donald Trump and his family. So when Donald Trump comes out and says how sorry he is about the situation and how it's a horrible situation, but in the same breath says that Rob Reiner did have Trump derangement syndrome and constantly attacked Donald Trump every single day, I do not think that that's an inappropriate response. I think that Rob Reiner's rhetoric could have potentially radicalized one of his followers. So between the rhetoric that Rob Reiner spewed and the overwhelming sympathy that the left showed toward Charlie Kirk, I just don't care that this was Donald Trump's response.
I typically don't talk politics, and I don't even think this is politics. But last night, legendary, iconic Hollywood figure Rob Reiner was unalived with his wife last night in brutal fashion, apparently by their son. And as the tributes came pouring in and can't believe this happened, oh my God, the man who is in charge of our country put out this. I'm going to leave it up. And as you read it, you're probably going to have the same reaction I did. Like, there's no way this is real. It's real. And I'm speechless. Like, we get it. Rob Reiner was critical of Donald Trump. But at what level does common decency or just common sense not tap him on the shoulder and be like, this ain't it, bro. Just don't even address it, or put the most bland vanilla, hey, we didn't always see eye to eye, but condolence. Like, what level of narcissistic, delusional, weak man do you have to be? Regardless of how you felt about Rob Reiner or whatever. And the man is in charge of the United States of America. My mind is blown. Like,
this is my third time trying to make this video. Maybe this will work. This has been a horrible weekend. And you know what's made it the most horrible of all? Is our president's reaction to the tragedies that have happened. This horrific event at Brown University, and then hearing our president say, literally stuff happens. And then what happened here in Los Angeles last night with Rob Reiner and his wife, and to see the response from our president this morning. You guys, we are living in such compounded trauma at this point, and to have a leader, what I use that word very generously, who responds that way, I don't know what to say. If you are in the rest of the world and you're watching this, please understand that tens of millions of us did not vote for this, despise it, revile it, reject it, and are working every fucking day to restore this nation to sanity. But yeah, 30% of our country thinks that tweet was great. I don't know what to say. Especially if you're a Christian and you're still following that man, your faith is dead. Take off your cross. You're not. You can't have a country ruled by this kind of hate and expect anything in it to thrive. So for those of you who voted for Donald Trump because of the economy or because of your big tax cuts, guess what? He is like salt on the earth. Everything he touches will die, including our country. We need him to be impeached and removed because we can't take 3 more years of this kind of hate at the top. That man is vileness encapsulated. And frankly, every Republican is as well at this point. If you are still standing with this party, you've lost your soul. And for the rest of you who haven't lost your soul, I'll say it. So somebody does. I'm so sorry. We don't deserve to live this way. This is not the way people should live. We must start to consider our common welfare. And that is going to mean dramatic changes in this country and in whose voices get amplified and heeded. I am so tired of a country run by crazy people for crazy people. And if you are too, let's say enough. And let's make a country led by love. And yes, compassion, which is something I know that MAGA Republicans reject. Well, I don't. And I don't think most of you do either. And guess what? It is time for us to have our turn. Because this is the best that hate can do, and it's not good enough. I'm sending hugs to everybody who needs one because you're not going to get comfort from the top right now. That is a shame, and we deserve better.
Now, if you're watching us, I request you to subscribe to our channel, because that is how you support us, and we really appreciate your viewership. Also, you can share your thought on this matter because it is a trending topic. How should the president address such issues? When someone dies, is it justifiable? Is a death justifiable because he wasn't supporting Trump? He formed a movement that was against Donald Trump. Is it a reason someone should just be killed blatantly in America? Or should we always protect the lives of the people? That is the big question that I want us to talk about today. Do not forget to subscribe, and I appreciate your viewership. Thank you, and may God bless you.